All right, we're back, baby. It's the charity stripe. Hit your free throws because they are free. Joshua Fisher, Alexander Desopoulos, and we have a special guest today, PB&J, peanut butter and jam. You got to go jam instead of jelly. It's a basketball player. We got Patrick Baldwin Jr. joining the boys, NBA prospect. How you doing, man?
Doing great, just down here in Chicago, working out, going through the pre-draft process right now and living the dream so far.
Yeah, talk about the draft. Is it you yet, man? How surreal is this? Is it crazy for you?
Yeah, this is definitely coming to me fast right now. I can think about it was just yesterday when I was just that little boy at the park just hooping. And now I'm at that big stage where I'm right in front of my dreams. So we're kind of at the finish line, but at the same time with the starting line.
Mm.
Um, so we just gotta push through it and work through it.
Yeah, starting line was early for you. You were the youngest player to ever receive an offer from Coach K at
Mhm.
sophomore year. Was it then that it really hit you that the NBA was a possibility, or did it still take a little bit of time for you to realize that you could be an NBA basketball player?
Yeah, it still definitely took a lot of time. I think my parents at that point did a good job of keeping me grounded and
Mm.
super humble throughout that whole process. But that was definitely a big eye opener for me when I realized like, yeah, I was that youngest Duke offer. But then as it slowly got progressed and got closer to my senior year and my freshman year of college, it became a real possibility and something that, we started talking about a little bit more.
Yeah, man. What are you working on? What aspects of your game? It's full basketball. School's out, man.
Yeah.
Done with school for summer and probably for good. What are you working on basketball wise?
Yeah, so it's full basketball right now. First and foremost, is my health.
Mm-hmm.
My ankle's been a big part of, my issues the last 2 years basically. So that's been a big point of emphasis this summer. Um, and then overall, just working on the shooting, working on defending and open runs, and working on the ball handling and getting quicker, more athletic. Just kind of, I'm at the point where I'm still working on my entire game right
Mm.
now. Um, so there's a lot of things that we're doing just to tighten up the screws and open up some new things for my game right now.
Mm. Yeah.
Do you think that'll be something that changes as you progress throughout, going to the NBA? And then at that point, once you've kind of rounded out your entire game, then you'll start adding those like more singular levels, those extra pieces and
Mhm.
whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, throughout my whole career, it's always been a puzzle. And as you get closer to completing that puzzle, it's about finding those last pieces that really fit in. So whether that's the defending portion or what my role is with the team, so just completing that puzzle and making that picture of what my game is going to be for an NBA team.
Are you
Do you
excited a little bit in the sense that your role is going to be so different than what it usually is? Like your role, like you went to Milwaukee where you're the coach's son. I mean, you're the best player on the team and you're the coach's son. You're probably best player in your high school, one of the best guys in AAU. Now you're going to the NBA and you kind of have a little pressure off you. Are you excited
Mhm.
about that? Some more open looks. You really kind of, show that portion of your game. Like you could hit shots, but a lot of your shots are always contested.
Yeah. There's definitely stuff to be excited about. I mean, you're in the cream of the crop of basketball talent in the NBA, so um, there's definitely going to be a lot of pressure taken off me offensively in terms of load. Um, so yeah, in that case, I'm a little bit excited, but it's going to be a transition period, transitioning from that old role that I had in college and high school to what my new NBA role is going to be. Even though it will be somewhat similar
Mm.
in a sense.
I,
Yeah.
I think I saw, obviously there's so many different people that make drafting profiles on all the different guys that are going to go to the league. But I think I saw one person say you shot like 7 open shots like the entire season, like truly, like, and obviously like it's different, right? What they consider a wide open shot or
Yeah.
a lightly contested shot, like that differs, and that's subjective. But it's just ridiculous. Even the fact that it was 7 open jumpers
Yeah.
it's absurd.
Mhm.
Did you feel like that was like a real challenge? Like you're trying to adjust to the college game and like you hardly are even getting any room to breathe, let alone get your shot off.
Yeah, that's something I definitely expected. And I don't know who's like determining what's an open shot or
Right.
whatnot. Um, but I've talked about this a ton. When you're a guy of my caliber coming into that situation, you're front center in the scouting report. You're circled in red. Before the locker room, you're talked about as okay, you got to take this guy to the game. So when they're sending 2, 3 guys at you at a time, 7 open looks It sounds about right to me.
3 guys. This is the Aaron Donald treatment over here. It's crazy, right?
A
Oh
little
my
bit, yeah.
God. What were some of the big takeaways from this year? Obviously, you could have played anywhere you wanted. You chose to play for the old man. Interesting move, but you stuck with it, went with your guns. What were some of the positives that maybe people didn't see, that you guys got to experience together and you got to experience, and also some of the big lessons you learned?
Yeah, so I'll start off with a lesson.
Yeah.
I think for every rookie, they talk about that rookie wall basically, and how you respond to that rookie wall. And I think in that sense, I've already been prepared for it in a way, just having gone through various injuries, various different results of wins and losses, and having nights where you may succeed, where you may unsucceed, and I think being able to stay the course and just be within yourself throughout that whole process is what helped me this year and what I can take forward going into next year into my career. Um, and then this year, I think it was super fun, honestly. Um, in a way, like the season wasn't as fun, I guess, as I would think it would be, in terms of wins and losses. But just being around my dad every single day, going from that grind of a season with him every single day, that was special, and that's kind of what I wanted out of it, just that once in a lifetime opportunity to play for my father, after him taking care of me for pretty much 18 years of my life.
Yeah.
You mentioned I think that's really
That's
special,
cool,
and
yeah.
it's something that's I think every kid wished they had an opportunity to do that if they were put in that position, and if their father was also a coach and also a guy that played too.
Well, most guys usually do. Buddy Boeheim took it. McDermott took it. I mean, guys are always going to take the opportunity, and it's even if it's like obviously Milwaukee isn't Duke, but like, it is a cool aspect to to go there and be, the top guy in the Horizon League. Honestly, top recruit ever there.
You mentioned, sometimes you're seeing triple teams, sometimes double teams, never just one defender, always someone in the help side ready in case you beat your man. Is that something you feel like is an underrated aspect to your game, just your ability to create for other teammates? Because obviously I think what a lot of people are profiling you as is you've got great length, you've got a great shooting stroke, from three, from the mid range, the catch and shoot, all those tools are there. But do you feel like that's the main part of your game that people are underrating? And if it's something else, I'd love to hear what people are overlooking.
Yeah, I definitely think in portions of my season I was able to show the ability to play make for teammates and find the open guy, make the tough passes, put it on the money. To a lesser degree, I think it's another thing that helped me this season is kind of what I call the Luka Doncic effect, where he's playing in EuroLeague ball, where it's condensed court, super physical. And in the same sense, Horizon League, no disrespect, but a lesser degree than the EuroLeague, is the same type of ball. It's condensed, super physical. And you've got really tight windows to navigate, and you've got tight windows to put the ball in the money, and you've got a ton of attention on you. So just being able to showcase, the passing and being able to find the open guy and make the thread the needle and make the right passes to teammates is something that I think I showcased a tad bit this year. Obviously I would have loved to play more than 11 games, but having that said, I think I did accomplish a little bit there.
Yeah, and Lucas is a fair player, so good on you, Patrick, for mentioning that. But yeah, I mean, look, the guys that compare you to are KD and Tatum, and we'd love to hear some of the guys that you've obviously emulated your guy. We've listened to some other interviews, and you said you've emulated your game after those guys. I'd love to hear who else growing up. But if you look at Tatum in Game 1 of the finals, he had 13 assists. Yeah. How many times did KD go double with assist? I mean, it's so important for guys at your position or quote unquote position because the NBA has become so fluid to be able to make those passes and handle the rock. So great that you're working on, that's an aspect of the game that you're continuing to build. Who other than KD, Tatum, who are some guys that you've emulated? Have you had conversations with like Michael Porter Jr.? Because you guys have had a kind of similar track and have also had some comparisons.
Yeah, so we have a similar track. We're actually represented by the same guy. So we've got that connection, but I haven't been able to connect with him yet. I think he's down in Missouri, just kind of working out. So I'm not sure what he's doing on his end, but yeah, there's definitely been guys from Milwaukee. Chris Middleton's been a big guy that I watch a ton. I just kind of love those do-it-all forwards. Those dual threat, they can kill you from all three levels, play make for other teammates and get it done defensively. So there's a lot of players that fit that mold, a lot of players that, are great at that position. Um, and pretty much any guy like that, I tend to watch a ton.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, who are you most excited to face?
Yeah, I think just from watching it from high school, I think it's Tatum. Um, I would love to see him in a matchup. Um, yeah, I know he'll have a lot of strength on me and he'll have a lot more to his game than I would at that point. But, if there's a point where I'm competing with Tatum and competing with those guys at the top of their craft, I'm in a pretty good position.
Mm-hmm. Have teams or conversations with teams, are they asking you to work on certain things? How much of the conversations about your health they want you to put on more weight? I mean, obviously everyone has to put on weight when they get to the NBA, but how is it kind of like, you're not like Chet, who's going to have to put on a couple more pounds than you, I assume. So
Yeah.
what are some of those conversations like?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the conversation is just about my health, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
That's been pretty much the whole conversation about my game. Is just, can I be on the court? Because a famous sports quote is availability is your best ability.
Yeah.
Very cliche, but it's true. So I've just got to show that I can stay healthy and work out in front of these teams and, be the player that I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that quote has caused many an argument on our show, especially as of late with me and Alex over here. Because I said Cat was more valuable at the current moment than Anthony Davis. And he told me I was crazy, even though he's a better player. But I said, best ability is availability. Karl Anthony Towns plays. And then he obviously did not do me any service in the first round of the playoffs against the Grizzlies in the ring. Let's talk about the rest of the class, though. Who are some guys in this class, obviously other than yourself, that you feel are underrated that can really shine in the NBA?
Yeah, underrated. Um, a guy that I've been watching a ton is actually the guard out of Ohio State, Malachi Branham. I think he's super underrated. Just in the sense that a lot of guards that have that type of success in your freshman year in the Big Ten specifically, typically go on to be pretty good players. Um, because I think just growing up around the Big Ten of Northwestern, it's a different type of basketball. Um, it a lot more resembles that European League basketball where it's super condensed courts. You're playing through an old school big basically. And so when you've got a guy that can, score his 15, his 16, his 17 points per game in that league as a freshman and then offer you some stuff defensively, I think that's a good player and I still think he's super underrated right now. Aside from him, I really like his game a ton. Aside from him, I really haven't. There's probably one other player that I'm missing.
We'll take that one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a guy that's probably going to go end of lottery, maybe, but he could probably go in that 15 to 20 range. And it could totally be like a Tyrese Maxey situation where he was or Quickly situation. And Quickly came out as a sophomore where these guys were just dominant, in the SEC and people kind of overlooked it for one reason or another. I mean, because your draft range is pretty big. Like you can go in a number of different ways. But has seen guys like Jordan Poole, guys like Draymond, guys like Jokic, a second-round pick who's won now back-to-back MVPs. Has that eased that a bit? Is to put less pressure on having to be a lottery pick kind of deal?
Yeah. I think in that sense, there's no particular pressure about where I go in the draft. Because as like my family has talked about this, the only thing the NBA draft offers is an opportunity. So once you step foot in that door, it's about your work ethic and about how you gel with the team, how you get along with the coaches, with the front office, and really how you carve out your own space for yourself within a team. So that's what we've talked about a ton because we know, my family and, my people around me, they know about, my range and where I can go. So it's not always about how high I go or where I go. It's just about, to which team I go to and if they value my talents or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
With playing as high a level of basketball as you've played your entire life on the AAU circuit, tournaments, you've traveled a lot, I imagine, across the United States. But a lot of times when you travel to those places, you don't necessarily get a second to breathe because you're playing nonstop. We all know how grueling those tournaments can be, the Saturday, Sunday, back to back, nonstop, one game after another. Are there any places in the United States that you're really looking forward to once you get drafted by an NBA team, get to travel to, get to experience?
I think it's more so just arenas.
Yeah.
Like you always want to play Boston just because of their arena. You always want to play the Lakers, which is now Crypto Arena, but
What they changed the name? The Staples Center was so nice, right?
yeah, it was. I don't know. I still call it the Staples Center, honestly.
Yeah, so we live in Los Angeles. We call it the Staples Center all the time.
But when you
100%.
type in Staples Center, it recorrects on Google Maps to crypto.com. It's the worst. It's the worst.
I don't know. But yeah, there's just famous arenas that I've grown up watching and watching on TV and watching guys have big time performances. I mean, Madison Square Garden is the king of elite performances. That's where a lot of players make their name. So just being able to play in those, famous arenas is definitely something that is super special and that I will never take for granted when I step foot in those arenas.
Yeah. Have you been to the Garden before, Madison Square Garden?
I've driven past it one time. I've only been in New York once.
Oh, dude, it's great. I grew up there. It's nuts.
Mhm.
Yeah, you'll really dig it. It's a special place. Outside of basketball, what are the interests? What do you like to do? Favorite food? Guilty pleasure TV show? Let it all out, man. Talk to us.
Yeah. Guilty pleasure TV show is actually Seinfeld.
Okay. Wow.
So I'm going back and watching that one. That I think is on Netflix, so I'm just kind of going back through it.
Dude, that's not a guilty pleasure show. That's just a
an
great
awesome
show.
show.
That's just
Yeah.
a good show.
That's a respect, dude. It's a mic drop, dude.
So
Yeah.
so my parents watched it a ton when I was a kid. So now that I'm older and kind of understand it more, it's definitely a more fun watch for me. Outside of basketball, like bike rides, it's a great way to just stay in shape and stay healthy and get active and see places around you. Especially in Chicago, like this is just great weather to go out for a nice bike ride by the lake after a workout. Like movies, mostly sports movies. And then really outside of that, it's just kind of, being with friends, playing basketball and, video games here and there.
Yeah. What's the favorite sports movie? This is a big one, dude.
It's Space Jam. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
I know it's a basic one, but it's Space
Jam. No. But Space Jam's good. That's a good one. I think
it's an elite one.
Yeah, it's an elite one for sure.
I think Josh, you're probably in the same boat as me, but my favorite basketball movie is probably Coach Carter, I think.
No, I think we're in different boats. You don't like mine's Hoosiers. You don't like my boat.
Yeah, it's not my favorite.
I would have PBJ. I would have said, man, a good one for you could have been He Got Game with the whole dad son dynamic. That's except yours is like way nicer and like more clean cut than the whole Denzel Jesus Shuttlesworth situation.
I actually haven't seen that one, so I've got to get on that.
Dude, it's you know what? As a guy, Milwaukee, dude. Did you grow up in Milwaukee? Or you grew up in Chicago?
Yeah, mostly Chicago, but was there for 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Ray Allen. I love the C's, and Ray Allen's my favorite player, and it's a cool movie to check out if you like Ray Allen. That's a really good one. Couple more for you, man. This is a tough one. All right, putting you on the spot here. If you were the Orlando Magic, who would you take first?
Can't be myself.
Other than you. Nice way to cop out. Other than you.
Yeah. I kind of have to go Chet.
Ooh, really?
I think he's the only one I've played with. I love Paulo. I love Jabari. But I think you talk about kind of that match made in heaven with him and Jalen Suggs and, his shot blocking ability at his size and, his shooting touch. I think he offers a lot. That's relatively uncovered right now. So if I were the Magic, I think I'd definitely take Chet, but not a no-brainer for sure.
Really tough call. Well,
yeah.
Alex, who was you and I in the same? Now are we back in the same boat on this?
I mean, I don't know. I fluctuate every single day. It just depends on what these teams are looking for too. Like so much of it is fit, like exactly what you're talking about, Patrick. So I think it depends what they want, right? Like, and Chet's he's really versatile, especially defensively, and that goes a long way. in the modern NBA. And obviously he showed that he has a great shooting stroke too, so he can space the floor on offense. You gotta like that. What's like the camaraderie like with all the guys that are looking to get drafted? Because you played with Chet. You just mentioned you played with a lot of guys on the USA team, and of course you played against a lot of the guys in AAU. Is this a really close knit group?
Yeah, I think this class is really close because growing up, a lot of the top guys in the 2021 class actually played mostly with the 2022 guys. So I played up with Jalen's class and that class, and then you see a mixture of the one and dones, and then the guys that played 2 years in college here. So I think it's definitely a tight knit group. Like, we're all supportive of each other, but we're all super competitive too. We have a ton of friends in this class, and for the most part, we all know each other very well, just from crossing paths and AAU tournaments and such. So we're super supportive in that sense, but we're also very competitive.
Yeah, and I imagine there's also like this aspect of, for you guys your age, with everything that the pandemic dealt, right, and having to deal with that as an individual, having those other guys that had to do the same thing. That's a different added layer, especially the timing, right? Like, what was that like? Was it just a lot of just basketball by yourself, a lot of like thinking by yourself? Like, how did you deal with that situation that obviously everyone dealt with, but especially for you, it's such a pivotal time in your basketball life?
Yeah, I actually believe a lot of guys in my class would say the pandemic was actually a great thing for us, because we were doing online school. Most of us we were doing online school, so really we just had about 3 to 4 hours of online school, and then the day was up to you basically. So if you wanted to fill that with basketball, if you wanted to walk outside, and I know you couldn't walk everywhere, but if you want to just ride a bike or something, or just do something, I think it was an intro to being a pro basically. So a lot of my time was filled up with watching the bubble basketball and, just playing basketball, getting into a gym, and just being creative with the ball again. So that's where I think I took a step forward in my progression with, on-ball stuff and playmaking, was just being in that gym and, consistently getting those reps in. So that, I think pandemic actually helped me take a huge step forward in my game. And I think a ton of players can attest to that. But I know some people are vary with that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously you love the game. You're a student of the game. And you're doing media right now, you're obviously taking interviews with us. We've seen you take other interviews. Is that something you want to maybe get into? Obviously you want to get acclimated as a rookie, but looking at guys like Draymond, like guys like JJ Redick, who have their own shows, have their own podcasts, is that also something that interests you, or do you think could interest you in the future?
Yeah, it definitely could interest me for sure. Because I just love talking about basketball.
It's literally the best thing of all time.
Everything basketball, I just love talking about and being about and playing it. So if there's a path where I can do some stuff in my free time that involves basketball, I'm all about it. But I'm completely focused on becoming the best player in person that I can, and then once that gets all sorted out and I figure out where I stand in the NBA, then I can start pursuing other things. The basketball ranks.
When you sit down with your family, because obviously I imagine your dad feels a similar way that you do, but your mom, she was a college volleyball player.
Yeah.
What Crazy. Do y'all have rules where it's like, okay, now we can't talk about basketball, now we have to talk about other things?
Basketball is
all the time.
Free game, 24/7. Yeah, it's free game.
That's awesome.
That is awesome, because my house is not like that. My house is it's me and my dad, and then I have 2 sisters and my mom who will watch, but like me and my dad will it'd be car rides where we're just talking. My mom's like, all right, enough, no more sports, no more baseball, basketball, football. I swear to God, if I hear cricket in a second, I'm gonna freak out.
Yeah, that's not our house.
Yeah, you're free game. Good, man. Maybe I'll come to the Baldwins for dinner one night.
Yeah, come to dinner. Sure.
Did you ever play just like recreationally volleyball growing up as a kid?
Yeah, I tried it recreationally from maybe 3rd grade to like 6th grade. I just didn't love it like basketball, but it was fun. It was fun.
I played.
Honestly.
Yeah, right. I played it in high school, and I played because I was a basketball player, and I wanted just more footwork work, more jumping work. Like I felt like it could translate well to the game. And it's interesting because those guys that play like for the United States team are incredible. But guys like Chase Buttinger, he was an incredible volleyball player at Arizona. And I know that like a lot of the skill set, especially if you're a 2-foot jumper, translates really well to volleyball. And if you're that tall, it's easy to block. So I figured like if you played, you would have been great at it.
Yeah,
for sure.
it would have helped my 2-foot jump a ton because I'm actually a 1-foot jumper.
Really?
So in that sense, it's definitely gonna help me a bit.
But that's just a feel thing. Like I've always been a 2-foot jumper even before I played volleyball. And if you go off of one, like I get scared going off of one.
Yeah.
Also, like all I can do is touch the net anyway. So it's not, what does it really matter for me? But no, Josh, you were saying at the beginning, PB&J, it's got to be peanut butter and jam, but it could be. It could be peanut butter and jelly. What if you gives a little jelly? There's nothing wrong with that.
The little jelly roll is nice.
Soft, but
the jam is tough, dude. You got to go jam.
You can mix it. Jamming. Are you thinking about like, because you could really with branding and just players and how they tap into most guys have their own personal brand. Are you really thinking about like leaning hard into that, into the PB&J, the peanut butter and jam, peanut butter and jelly kind of thing?
Yeah, no doubt. Because I think it's unique and people have heard it a ton. And if they start attesting whenever you say PBJ and they start thinking about, yourself as the brand, that could be a very cool avenue to tap into.
Do you have a favorite peanut butter brand? Let's just get it out there. Butter? Like I'm a Jif guy.
I'm gonna hold it.
Hold on to it. Yeah.
That's probably a smart move, honestly. I mean, look, you could write a 3 acronym name. Michael Kidd Gilchrist wrote it his whole career. MK, he stayed in the league because of it. Honestly, I swear to God, because it was so nice to roll off the tongue. Top 5 players in the league right now.
Top 5 player in the league. Curry.
1?
No, not 1.
Okay. No order.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I got overzealous. That's me.
Yeah, you guys are about to jump out of your seats real quick.
I got overzealous. I mean, I think he might be top 5 all time, but that's anyway. Who's top 5 right now for you?
Yeah, so I think it's Curry, Giannis, Jokic, Embiid. I really want to throw LeBron in there. I want to put LeBron in there. Yeah,
of course.
LeBron is my 4th, and then the 5th. I've got to say, based off this season, probably John Morant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jaws. He's exciting.
He's tremendous. Talk about peanut butter and jam. That guy can jam.
Yeah, he can get up.
Literally, like Space Jam. There's been some times where he is like jumped from the moon. It's crazy. How high he can get up. Patrick, we ask all our guests this. It could be from you playing, watching, anything, your whole life. What is your favorite sports memory ever?
My U19 gold medal.
Wow.
That's my favorite experience. It's quick, yeah.
That was, we've asked that. I mean, we've asked the question like literally 400 times. That was one of the quickest answers.
I think that was on your Milwaukee page, and I was wondering if you were going to say the same thing, but clearly you get the same answer every time. You just know.
Yeah, and it'll be that until a championship trumps that. So that's where I'm at right now.
How was that feeling when the buzzer sounded and the game was over and you knew you guys had won?
That was awesome. That was awesome for our group because we were just so talented, and we had guys up and down that roster that could have started and played 40 minutes for any team down there. And I think that game in general, it was just it was tighter and it was closer. We were going up against France and Victor, so it was a close game. So it was a ton of fun. Then
people don't know him over here.
Yeah, he is.
They will.
He's every bit of 7'5" with every bit of whatever his wingspan is. Like it's ridiculous.
What was that like? Just getting to play guys that aren't from the States, because obviously most of those AAU tournaments, like I was talking about before, you're playing a lot of different teams, but most of these guys, like if they want to talk shit, like they can talk to you in English, and they can get under your grill. They know who you are when they're D'ing you up, just like the guys in college did when they're circling your name on on the scouting report. But what was it like having that culture barrier with so many of these other guys that play from different countries? Yeah,
that language barrier was actually pretty cool, because I actually felt partly bad because we couldn't speak their language all the time, but typically they could, speak English and make out what we were saying. So I kind of wish I did a little bit of, research or language.
Little Rosetta Stone on the
Yeah.
plane. a little
Yeah,
last
a little bit.
minute French.
Hey,
on
all
the
it takes is
plane.
one teammate though on whatever NBA team you end up on, and
Yeah.
you just sponge up what he has to say, whether he's from Spain or France or wherever it is, and then there you go, you're bilingual. Boom.
Yeah.
Done.
So, but in the same, I think it was actually super cool because that was the first time I'd gotten a chance to play against Dyson Daniels. I'd never heard of him before I went down there. I had never heard of Nikola Jovic before I went down there. So I got to meet all these new players that I had never heard of that were elite in their own respect, basically. And I just got to watch their games and see, you know, what different countries do, what different actions countries coin. And I think Spain was interesting because they were just a well-oiled machine almost. Like they had been together for a while. They'd been playing together for a while. So they had, you know, their actions. They had some unique stuff.
It's crazy. Like
cool.
some of these guys, like the Spanish guys game versus the Australians guys game. Cause like guys like Dyson Daniels, people are going to know he's going to go a lot higher. I think than people realize.
Mhm.
And a guy like Nikola Jovic, who I want to start a petition that he should just be drafted by the Nuggets because we'd be missing a golden opportunity for the Jovic and Jokic not to be on the same team here. But it's so interesting you bring up the Spanish team and how well oiled they are, because you could kind of see that in like a lot of those guys' games. They're very polished, a lot of the European players.
Yeah. They were super polished. Their point guards were savvy, crafty.
Mm.
They could all shoot. Yeah, I mean, they got it done without being the elite athletes that USA might have been. And in their own respect, they're still good athletes.
Mm.
But I just love the way Spain played together, and they were pretty fun to watch, even when I wasn't playing against them. You know, you just poke your head in and see what they were doing a couple of times.
Yeah, that's awesome. Patrick, thank you so much for joining us. Had a blast, you man. Go get him out there, dude. Keep shooting like you do and keep working on your game and go have a great draft, man. We'll be pulling for you. Of course, man. All right. Catch you later, brother.
You too.